What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. It's the beginning of the 2024 season, and I thought I'd do an in the bag and give you a preview of what I'm bagging to start the 2024 season. So let's jump into it. If you didn't see, I'm sponsored by Paul Macbeth for my bag. So I'm rocking his American flag signature bag here from Grip. Big shout out to Paul. He's hooking me up and doing a lot of extra stuff for me. So big shout out, Paul. Let's start with my putting putters. I putt with the Jawbreaker Swirl Focus. This is the Putt Like the Pro run that they did in 2020. I've been using them for the last 3.5 seasons. Next, I have just a standard Jawbreaker Focus. Been in my bag for 5 years and just very understable. This is kind of my cheater flick disc from short range if I don't want to throw the forehand. This just kind of mimics that left to right moving shot. Next up, my throwing Focus. This is pretty dead straight, can manipulate any kind of angle, and it just holds it. Really good throwing putter, and I like the Jawbreaker plastic for the extra grip. Moving on to zones, I carry 3 zones. This is my straightest zone. This is dyed by Greasy Dyes, and just kind of like a good torque resistant throwing putter, and nice and straight. And then we have my overstable zone. This is a Brian Earhart stamped Color Shift Z zone. Just a nice standard overstable zone. And then maybe my most thrown disc in the bag is this soft zone, swirly soft zone from Ledgestone that they ran a couple years ago. Absolute money approach disc. I recommend this disc to every single person I talk to. You can always use a good overstable approach putter, and yeah, this plastic is just perfect to hit the ground and not get too bad of a skip. So check these out if you haven't yet. They're on the Ledgestone site. Let's move on to my mid-ranges. My flippiest mid-range, Buzz SS. It's pretty understable. Got to throw it on some hyzer, otherwise it's just going to turn into a thrower. But really good glide when I get it just right. Love those left to right moving shots with the Buzz SS. Next up, my regular ESP Buzz Clemonade stamp. Super happy he's on Discraft this year. One of my good touring friends. Yeah, just a good standard Buzz, nice and straight, point and shoot. It's got some good glide. Been loving that one. Now I bagged 3 drones here. My straightest drone in the bag is this Crystal drone that has been beat up for a couple years now. This thing is dead straight, lots of glide. I can get about 350 out of it. And new to my bag in about the last 30 minutes, I gotta have a green drone. And so I am bagging this green drone as kind of my medium stability drone. Don't know how much I'm gonna throw it to start out the season just because it's brand new to me, but you know, I'm gonna test it out. Hopefully it's that it'll get to that nice straight slot that I like with my drones. And then my overstable drone, this is a OG Ram stamp from Black Ink, but this is crystal plastic, very overstable, just fills that overstable mid slot. Love the Ram. Let's move on to the Fairways. My first fairway in the bag is this Test Flight Athena. Now this is a really good 7-speed disc that I'm really glad Discraft made in the last couple years. I reach for this one when I don't think I could get a drone. So I get probably 30 to 50 more feet with this Athena than my drones. Next fairway in the bag, this is a specifically used for rollers. It's my Flex Avenger SS, and you really can't even throw air shots with it. It's so flippy, but it's really fun to use rollers or just like flicks where you can't really get any kind of arm swing, but you know, you just flick it a little bit and it'll actually fly at that low speed. Next up, I have a Avenger SS in Z plastic. This one is considerably more stable than that roller one I just showed you, but this one, I can get it to go from left to right while throwing it on that hyzer angle, but I'll also throw this for my distance rollers as well. Moving on to my Raptors. This is a ESP Glow Raptor, new to my bag about a couple days ago. I've thrown it a little bit in the off season, but it finally made the bag officially yesterday. So we're going to be throwing this one. I think I'm going to use this a lot. This is nice and straight for a Raptor, but it doesn't turn. It just goes straight for most of the flight and gets that fade. Then we got the Captain Raptor, the first run of them. This is the only cap wrap I've ever thrown because it's so overstable and it has not lost any stability in the last 3 years or so. And loving this one, love the color shift plastic that this one's in. This is a money disc, another great disc that Discraft ran in the last couple of years. And then if you want to consider these a fairway or a hybrid, but I have Onyxes, this is just a proto Onyx, pretty understable. This is like another left to right moving shot that I like throwing, or hyzer flip to dead straight. I don't throw it too much, but when I do, it seems to work out, so should throw it a little bit more, I guess. And then we have the Big Z Onyx. I've been loving the Big Z Onyxes lately. These are exactly the stability I'm looking for in an Onyx, where I can just hammer it flat, and it's just flat for most of the flight, and then gets the fade. I can get probably about 400 feet with the Onyx, maybe a little more, but this is a very, very consistent disc in my bag. And let's move to the distance drivers. I have 4 forces in the bag. First force, very, very flippy, is this Glow Force. Been in my bag since day one of Discraft, so we're running on almost, it's been through 5 seasons. Very flippy, can even throw rollers with it, but I do like throwing forehands. This is probably my, maybe my most thrown forehand disc, just because I don't have a lot of arm speed, but it flies good for what I can put on it with a forehand. I don't throw a lot of backhands with it because it's so understable. My next force in the bag, love this run of force. This is just an ESP force, very domey, very pop top. But this is I think this was from 2019. It used to be a beefcake, but now it's just kind of beat up to straight, maybe a little turn. And it's very glidey and it goes far, so I love this run. And then also new into the bag within the last 20 minutes or so, this force I got from Chandler Fry. He came through driving, and he drove from Washington down to Florida. He stopped at my house, gave this to me as a gift since he is on a different team now. So thanks, Chandler. I tried it out, it made the bag, and we'll see what this can do for me this year. And the most overstable force in my bag is this 2020 Z Metallic Tour Series force of mine. Just very overstable, and I can get maybe 375. It's so overstable. But I feel like I gotta have a beefy force in the bag for any kind of wind, any kind of conditions, you never know. Next we are on to the nukes. I have my flippiest nuke in the bag. This is dyed by Greasy Dyes, ESP nuke. This is probably the furthest flying disc in my bag, but I don't throw it a whole lot because it's understable. So if it's wide open field, probably reaching for this. If it's pretty tight with OBs, probably gonna throw something a little bit more consistent. But this is also my forehand distance driver right now. I could get like 350 with the forehand when I really get a hold of this one, which isn't a lot, but it's good enough for me. It's what I've been working on this off season, and I feel like I'm getting the most distance with this flippy nuke. Have another ESP nuke, also dyed by Greasy Dyes. This is my bomber nuke. Really good stability to nuke, where I can just throw it, even tiny bit of anhyzer, and it just rides right, comes back left. Very, very consistent distance driver. I really like this disc. And I have just a beefcake nuke. This is a Z nuke, and if I want to throw just a big pushing hyzer. I'm gonna reach for this. I can get about 50 more feet out of this nuke than I can my forces, so I will be throwing this when I just need that really long, consistent hyzer. And then I have 2 nuke OSs in the bag. I have this Ulibarri stamped, it's 158 gram nuke OS in the Z light plastic, and this thing mashes. It's so stable for a lightweight disc. I can throw it on anhyzer and it just pans and comes back. I can maybe get the most distance in all of my driver lineup with this disc if I throw it right. I know I get the most miles per hour out of my hand because it's light, and this one's fun to throw. So I've been working with this one. And the last disc in my bag, this old Fly Dye Nuke OS. It's a beefcake. I can get like 325 out of it, but it will hand up to any kind of headwind you throw at it. So just got to have it in the bag. Also, occasionally we'll use it for chop forehands or skip forehands. I like the wide rims for my forehands. So yeah, Nuke OS. And that is all the discs I have in my bag. We are starting the 2024 season in a couple days, and make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I will see you out on the course for the 2024 year. Thanks for watching, guys.